All right, everybody hear me? Okay, I hope everybody hears me. I don't know how long the shiur has to go, so we'll make a short and sweet. A freiliche Zachen. We all know that the Rebbe has a chiddush in the Sichos Chelik Tezayin that the inyan of Mishenichnas Adar Marbin Besimcha, especially in a Shana Muberes, applies even in Chodesh Adar Rishon. And the Rebbe says this based on the chiddush that even though, despite the fact that the Simcha should really be on a regular Shana Pshuta, only on Yud Gimel and Yudalad Nisim, because that's in the Yud Gimel Yudalad Adar, Tezvav Adar, because those were the days within the Tzachon. Nevertheless, the pasuk says HaChodesh Hashem Nepach Lahem, even though, as I mentioned before, the Tzachon was only a couple of days, and the reason is brought because the pur that the lottery the Haman made fell out. Haman was sameach, was happy when it fell out in the month of Adar because he thought there was only the yahrzeit of Moshe Rabbeinu, and Hayois that he didn't know it was his Yom Haledes, so which is really days before Yud Gimel Yudalat Hezvav. So the Rebbe says the whole Chodesh became a Chodesh of Simcha. And Hayois that al pi halacha, it's also mentioned that Zayin Adar, the Indian from Moshe Rabbeinu, when it's a Shana Muberes, you celebrate it also in Shana in Chodesh Rishon, Adar Rishon. The Chodesh Hashem Nepach Lahem is not only a Chodesh Adar Sheni, it's even Adar Rishon. So the Rebbe establishes the point that Mishenichnas Adar Marbin Besimcha is a inyan in both Adars, and we all know that there's 60 days. The 60 days of Simcha is mevatel any negativity v'chulu v'chulu. They be shesataka helfen. So let's spend a couple of minutes and see what we could find about Simcha in the Megillah. And l'chayra in the Megillah you can find really a big difference between Simcha of Klal Yisrael, how it works by Klal Yisrael, and the Simcha that lahavdol there is by Goyim. Ubahakdim. The Gemara says in Masechta Megillah, the Gemara brings in Daf Yud Aleph 11 Amayroyim, that when they would give their drashas, their shiurim on Purim time, they 11 of them each found a different topic to start the discussion of Purim, the excitement of Purim. 11, each one found a different pasuk, which was the highlight that he felt he wanted to discuss Purim with. Rava started it with a pasuk in Mishli. The pasuk in Mishli says, "B'revois tzadikim yismach ha'am." When there are many tzadikim, the people become happy. Uvim mishoyel rasha rachman al-tzlan, when rishoyim are in control, yenach ha'am. That's when rachman al-tzlan, the people mourn. So this is a pasuk in Mishli. So the more tzadikim, the more simcha brings. The more negativity is the hepech. So the Gemara goes on to say, Rava says, "B'revois tzadikim ze Mordechai ve'Esther." Mordechai ve'Esther brought simcha, as the pasuk says, "Va'ir Shushan tzahala v'samecha." Uv'mishoyel rasha yenach ha'am, Rachman al-tzlan, Rishoyim bring a bad feeling, is ze Haman, diksiv va'ir Shushan navoicha. So the Gemara, Rava brought two psukim. Haman brings ir Shushan navoicha, and Mordechai brings ir Shushan. Mordechai ve'Esther bring ir Shushan tzahala v'samecha. It is interesting to note that the Mefarshim ask, "Va'ir Shushan navoicha." What does it mean, Va'ir and the Shtat Shushan? Shtat is not Nishkan Freilich Azach. It has no feelings, it has no emotion. It's obviously talking about the people in the Shtat. So Rashi and the Megillah Taka says, "Va'ir Shushan," says Rashi, "HaYehudim Sheba." Rachman al-tzlan, when the plot came out against Lahashmid or Laharig v'chulu v'chulu, so the Yehudim were Rachman al-tzlan afraid. When you look in the Medrash says it didn't even cause suffering for Klal Yisrael, Rachman al-tzlan. Even the Goyim at that time were upset when the Gzeira came out. And they were upset because their vision in life is such a shallow vision, Salz, Geld, and they were worried. What were they worried about? So the Medrash says a story. The Medrash says after the plot came out, when a Yid would go to the market and want to buy a pound of meat, want to buy some vegetables or whatever, so the guy who is selling it started choking the Yid. He says, "Batzolvishvim, keep your money, keep your money. I don't want you to spend your money. Why do I don't want you to spend your money? Because I'm waiting for the time, Rahman al-Islam, when I have permission to grab it. Don't blow your money on shtusim." So it caused a confusion. It caused a chaos. Even Rahman al-Islam amongst Goyim. By the Yidden, Rahman al-Islam, the bad feeling was there's a gzeira. By the Goyim, the bad feeling was, oh, he's losing a couple of dollars. So that's in the negative side. Va'ir shushan navoicha. Bervois tzadikim yismach ha'am. Steht eich va'ir shushan tzahala v'samecha. It says va'ir shushan. It's interesting that Rashi doesn't come to explain who's the Ha'ir Shushan Tzahala V'Samecha here. So many Mefarshim Taka say simple pshat is the Gzeira was cancelled out. So again, it's the Yidden. Rahman al-Islam, the Gzeira was against Klal Yisrael. Now there's no more Gzeira. So the Yidden are freilach. Other Mefarshim say that even Va'ir, there are 3 psukim back to back over here in Perek Ches that speak about the Simcha. The pasuk begins, finishes off, Va'ir Shusan Tzahala V'Samecha. The next pasuk goes on to say, La Yehudim Haisa Eira V'Simcha V'Sasim Vikar. And the following pasuk goes on weiter, Uvechol Medina Simcha V'Sasim La Yehudim. So you have to understand what are the 3 psukim. What the weiter Simcha V'Simcha Zaldan Simcha Afyidin. But what is this all about? So the first so as I said before, the first pasuk seems to be either it's only on the Yidden. Other Mefarshim say that it's even the Goyim were playing happy. Why not? It's Freilach the Welt. But a Simcha Amitis the Goy didn't have. Who has a true Simcha? It's the following pasuk. La Yehudim ham gehat a Simcha Amitis. And how do you see that they had a Simcha Amitis? Because by them it doesn't always say Tzahala v'Samecha as a Wildkeit. It says Eira v'Simcha v'Sasein Vikar. Simcha v'Sasein is a Simcha Kfula. If you want to read a beautiful Sikha from the Frierdiker Rebbe in Sefer Sichas Tavshin Aleph, the Frierdiker Rebbe obviously is talking to the Americans, and he's talking about the difference between Ivrim and Yehudim. He says Ivrim is a politisha. It used to be everybody till that time of Mordechai. Ivri was an honorable title. But then it became a political title. All you need is a title to be able to move around in the government. But a matzias from a yid that you didn't show your Judaism when you were Ivri. La Yehudim a kaifer ba'avodah zara. He is a Yehudi. For emes given eira v'simcha v'sasim vikar. We all know that the Gemara says, and Mendel, you must probably want to know, Daf Tezayin Amud Beis, Amar Rav Yehuda. Rav Yehuda says, Eira zu Torah, Simcha zu Yom Tif, Sasein zu Mila, and Yikar elu Tefillin. I must tell you that the Medrash says Yikar is not only on Tefillin, get off Yeder Yid. Yeder Yid is Yikar, he's tired by the Eivishter. And the question is asked, if Eira means Torah and Simcha means Yom Tif and Sasim means Mila v'chulu, so there's a very famous question: why was davon gein krum? Why didn't the Megillah Esther say clearly La Yehudim Haisa Torah, La Yehudim Haisa Yom Tif, La Yehudim Haisa Mila? Why say Eira? And you need a drash in the Gemara Zu Torah v'chulu. And there's a beautiful answer from the Sfas Emes. The Sfas Emes says that there's many forms of Simcha. Yeah, some guys could drink and become happy. Some guys could win a lottery, become happy, whatever. The Yidden in that Maimon of Matziv became so elevated that they realized, Oira, was is Emes Lichtigkeit? Emes Lichtigkeit is Torah. There is no other Lichtigkeit. Not shot, they got Torah back. They came to a Maimon of Matziv to realize that Oira is Torah. They came to a Maimon of Matziv that taught them, Emes Simcha. That's Yom Tif. There's no other Simcha. Simcha is when you fulfill Torah mitzvahs. Because there is a basic question. The Manas Halevi asks a question. The Gemara says, Eira zu Torah, Simcha zu Yom Tif, Sasan zu Mila, v'chulu. It's interesting. When the Gzeira came out, it says, all it says is, Lahashmid, Laharig, Lahabir, Achmar al-Than, Kol HaYudim. There's no mention in the Megillah that there was ever a Gzeira against these mitzvahs. It doesn't say in the Megillah anything about a Gzeira against the Torah mitzvahs. where is it mentioned? So in some Svarim it uses the same Hezber. When Rachmana litzlan, there's a lahashmid, a laharig, a laharbid. When this scare happens amongst Klal Yisrael, what the Yidden stop and think, what is the most important thing they're going to lose at that time? They're going to lose a couple of dollars. That doesn't bother them. What bothers them, lahashmid, laharig, laharbid, Rachmana litzlan, is they won't fulfill Torah mitzvahs. So hidden in the gezerah of lahashmid, laharig, is the gezerah as Rachmana litzlan that won't have the time to do the mitzvahs. So the Eibishter makes the nitzachin automatically. The nitzachin gashmi is be'etzem a nitzachin ruchni. And the nitzachin ruchni taught us that oira zu Torah. The emes lichtigkeit is Torah. Simcha, the emes lichtigkeit is fearing sich v'yayid. And when you do that, you ultimately reach the real goal of what the real simcha should be. I just want to conclude another fascinating vart. The last perek of the Megillah says, Achashverosh, after the whole huplop, the Achashverosh decided to place a tax. The last perek has 3 psukim. Vayosem Achashverosh mas al iyayam, and the question is, was ist das Rufgeweg der mal tax jetzt? My inyan shmita at Har Sinai. And the next couple of words are even more shocking. And he writes down all the greatness. He writes this all down. That's all written in the history books of Malchus B'Madei Paras. Now I'm asking my chaverim here online a pashta question. We were never allowed to go to a public library. Why would the Megillah tell me that if I want to find out any more details of a history or of this event, you know where you're going to find this out? What is a fruma yid? What does a fruma yid have this pasuk? What is it telling us? So this, so the tax part, and the Mefarshim say again, it's the same thing. Achashverosh Achashverosh says the whole thing, the plot and the nitzachin, it's all about money. It's all about money. Now Haman is gone. What does he need to do? He has to replace the 10 aseres alafim kikal kesef that he was supposed to get from him. All right, where am I going to get it? I'm going to place another tax. Okay, but what's with the Malchei? What's with the Sefer Divrei Hayom and Malchei Mother Paras? So it says in Chassidish Sfarim a very important point. The Chassidish Sfarim says that the story of the Megillah, and as we know from the Rebbe always told us that the story from the Megillah is all the story of our life, and it's a Chassidish. It's all about the neshama. It's all about Malkei Shalaylam. If you want to read history, if you want to read the Gashmiist part, and how the events, how there's chametz and there's bombs and all these meises, gei mir gesunter hate to Sefer Divrei Hayom L'Malchei Mother Paras. But we don't look at the Megillah like a Sefer Divrei Hayomim. We look at the Megillah as a lesson of Hashgacha Pratis. We sit down and we think, you know, that Achashverosh was even allowed, the fact that Achashverosh, who was a lowlife, ended up marrying Vashti, who was a Bas Malachim, that was Ushkeshtelt Men al-Chatchila as Hashgacha Pratis. And the Achashverosh should marry Vashti, Achashverosh should kill Vashti, and Esther. It's all Hashgacha Pratis. It's all Min HaShamayim. The whole split between how a Yid looks at things and Lahavdol, a Goy looks at things, how a Yid freit sich mit Simcha, and a Goy Lahavdol does Simcha, is Kirchayt Mizrach HaMayriv. A Goy does it, and history comes, history goes. Give it to the library and you'll get everything you want to know. A Yid has to look into the Megillah and take a lesson. And the most important lesson perhaps is when Haman came along, and Haman says, Yeshnoi Am Echad, V'daseim Shoynes Mikolam. So there's a beautiful Chassidish taich. There is an Am Echad. There is a nation that, you know, the Rebbe always said that throughout everything we do on Purim, we stress Yoim Echad, Am Echad, even in Alanissim. L'maynaf Kamina, that's the Achter Shebechlal Yisrael. So Haman says, Yeshnoi Am Echad. But they're very strange. What are they strange? V'daseim, because their religion is to be Meshunais Mikolam. Their religion teaches them they have to be different than everybody. That is what Yidden are. So, and that is what we stand by. And the Eibishter will get in koyach that we should all have the truth. As I mentioned, there are 3 psukim, one after another, of Simcha. We should all be able to be mesameach each other. Simcha Solam. And Edein is a frame, but the emes chavish Simcha at Bias Girl Tzedek. Amen.